We are back, continuing with rumor, fama, dame gossip. Here we go. Haec tum multiplici populos sermone replebat, gaudens et pariter factat quinfecta canebat. Venissaenean Troiano sanguine cretum, cui sepulcra viro dignetur jungere dido, nunc iem inter se luxu quam longa fovere, regnor in memores turpique cupidine captos. Our subject is haec, this one meaning fama, rumor. Gaudens, present active participle from gaudeo, gaudere. This one, rejoicing. Okay, this one, rejoicing, then, replebat, our verb, fills the populos, the people, multiplici sermone, or the peoples, I guess, with multiplici sermone, with varied talk, or gossip. And these are ablatives. Remember I mentioned earlier the adjectives in the ablative singular take an I, not an E. So nouns take an E, ablatives take an I. Occasionally nouns take an I too. One more time. This one, rejoicing then, fills the peoples with varied talk or varied gossip. And equally pariter, adverb, canebat, she sings, she was singing. Oh, and by the way, these are both imperfect, so I should have said filled with varied talk. And she sang, or maybe more proclaimed would be better. She sang or proclaimed equally facta at quinfecta. Facta at quinfecta. Deeds, things done, facta. Think of facio, right? Things done. And things infecta, things undone, meaning truth and falsehood, or truth and lies. So let's just do that bit one more time. This one, meaning rumor, rejoicing then, filled the peoples with varied talk, and proclaimed equally things done and undone, or truth and lies. Let's go ahead and read this next part. Venissaenean Troiano sanguine cretum, cui se pulchra viro dignetur jungere dido. Now we have this proclaimed up here, and this signals for us that there's going to be some indirect statements coming up, some indirect discourse. She proclaimed that, okay? And venisse is an infinitive. It's a perfect active infinitive from venio, venire, venisse. So when it is a perfect infinitive, it puts it farther back in time than the main verb. So this is in the imperfect tense. It's in the past. So since this is in the perfect tense too, it has to be before that. So that puts it back into the pluperfect tense. Or at least we're going to translate it that way. And this is according to what we call the sequence of tenses. So she's saying that Aeneas had come to Carthage. And there's an adjective here that modifies this Aeneas. And it is good to note that Aeneas is in the accusative case, because that in indirect statement you have infinitives and accusatives as the part that is in the indirect statement. So she's saying that Aeneas, and then this is sprung, or born, I guess, from Troiano sanguine, from Trojan blood, and that's an ablative, ab, with that, or from Trojan blood, venisse, had come to Carthage. And now we have a clause here that is referring to Aeneas. Cui, to whom, beautiful Dido. Now these go together. Beautiful Dido. Dignatur, deems herself worthy, or deigns, where we get our word, well, deems herself dignus, and dignus means worthy in Latin, so deems herself worthy, to jungere, complementary infinitive, to join herself, say. And we missed this wiro here. Let's do that one more time and we'll add in the wiro. To whom as a wiro, literally as a man, but meaning as a husband. Okay, now those are datives, so I'll mark them as datives. To whom as a husband, beautiful Dido deems herself worthy to join, or deems it worthy to join herself to. So let's put all that together. This one, rejoicing, then, fills the peoples with varied talk, and proclaims equally things done and undone. That Aeneas, sprung or grown from Trojan blood, had come, to whom, meaning Aeneas, to whom beautiful Dido, or to whom as a husband, beautiful Dido deemed it worthy to join herself. Last part. And by the way, just one little quick note here. The Troiano here, because he's an outsider, Trojan is looked at as being like foreign blood. He was of foreign blood. Trojan sanguine. It's meant in a bad sense here. Nunc hiem inter se luxu, quam longa fovere, regnor in memores turpidine que cupidine captos. Now this next part is still being governed by this indirect statement thing going on here. So you got to consider that Rumor is proclaiming this stuff, and she's proclaiming this stuff. So she proclaimed that Aeneas, sprung from Trojan blood, had come, and now she's proclaiming that they, put in an eios, which means Dido and Aeneas, and this is an accusative, right, because we're still in indirect statement, that they now, get the nunc, and now we have this infinitive. Earlier we had this infinitive, now we have this infinitive. That they were caressing inter se, among themselves, literally, but they were caressing themselves. This phrase is used, farce, as a lot of times when we have reciprocal action. So she proclaimed that now they, meaning Dido and Aeneas, were caressing themselves, luxu, in luxury, that's an ablative, and we have fovere is a verb. Now remember, the main verb is canebat, and then these are infinitives that go with this. They were caressing themselves hiemem, through the winter. This is an accusative, and it's an accusative of time, duration of time. So they were accusing themselves. They were caressing themselves through the winter. It's an accusative, time, duration. Ablative shows time when, but accusative shows time for how long the duration is. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. And they were doing this caressing of themselves in luxury through the winter, quam longa, however long it might be. Okay, so this quam longa, the quam goes with hiemem, however long it might be, quam longa sit. Use your subjunctive from sum there, however long it might be. And that's kind of like its own little clause there, okay? quam longa sit. And now this next part, regnori memores torpique cupidine captos. E memores is an adjective that describes Dido and Aeneas. They, not mindful, and it's an accusative because they were an accusative up here. Well, they weren't really, but we had to include it, right? But since we're in indirect statement here, they're in accusative. So unmindful, regnorum, of their kingdoms. It's a genitive. And when it says of their kingdoms, we're talking about both Carthage, see it as far as notes, and Italy. We're going to find out that while Dido is feeding her passion for Aeneas, the city of Carthage goes unbuilt. Towers and walls remain half-built, and she's not putting the energy into building Carthage that she did before because she's distracted by Aeneas. Likewise, Aeneas is unmindful of his kingdom, Italy, because he's not going there. He's staying in Carthage and hanging out with Dido. They're caressing each other, and so they're unmindful of their kingdoms. And captos, they were taken or captivated, turpi cupidine, with a foul or a dirty desire, meaning this lust they have for each other. So captos, and this is what rumor is saying, right? They were captivated with turpi cardine, and that's an ablative. Tells us how they were taken with each other or captivated with each other with a foul lust. One more time. Let's just do this whole thing because it really all connects together. This one, rejoicing then, fills the peoples with varied talk and proclaims equally things done and undone. That, I'm putting in the that in English because now we're going into indirect statements, that Aeneas, sprung from Trojan blood, had come to Carthage, right? To whom, as a husband, Dido deems, deems herself worthy to join with. Now, and proclaims that now they caress each other in luxury through the winter, however long it might be, unmindful of their kingdoms and captivated with a foul lust, with foul desire or dirty desire for one another. Okay, pretty bad stuff. Who's going to hear these rumors? We'll find out in the next episode.